nicely down the middle of the road, under the bridge, second away, 11-time TT winner Bruce Anstey on that lovely Honda of Padgett's. Smoothly away, tucked behind the bubbles straight away is Anstey. Third away, 9 podiums in 47 races for James Hillier. Hillier on the JG Speedfit Kawasaki. Here the changes of gears as he heads down. Here he is, the Bingley Bullet, 14 TT wins. Ian Hutchinson on the Tyco BMW. There will be a gap, of course, now 20 seconds between Ian Hutchinson and the man under the arch now. Number 6, Michael Dunlop on that brand new Suzuki, 13 times a TT winner. And again, he's over, leaning to the left, and then he gets tucked in behind the shield. The screen, and away he goes. 7 is Connor Cummins. 49th TT start underway. He missed, of course, the Northwest 200 this year. And now the returning Guy Martin, the comeback with Honda. 16 podiums, still looking for that win. Probably not going to come in this race today. Guy Martin away. Dean Harrison, 28-year-old from Bradford. TT winner, just goes across to the scoreboards and now back to the left-hand side of the road, under the bridge and towards Bray Hill. Next away is 10, Peter Hickman. Legs now on the pegs, just had them dragging the rear wheel there just to keep that front wheel down. Peter Hickman, fastest lap, 132.4. Here is Michael Rutter, number 11. One more finish needed to equal Dad Tony on 51 TT finishers. Gary Johnson next away, winner in 2011, 2014, how about 2017? Nolly Johnson, of course, at 13, after that incident at Griever Castle yesterday. So Dan Neen going really well in practice, 4th quickest. He's on the Pens BMW. And, little bunny hop of the front wheel, and now he gets tucked in. Front wheel just bobs up another couple of times, and then he settles down and heads down towards St Ninians. Next away is William Dunlop on the Temple Golf Club Yamaha. And now another silver dream machine of Josh Brooks there. Welcome back, sir, after 2 years away. Wow, what a sound. 17, Steve Mercer, we wish him well, riding after his big off at the 11th milestone on Friday evening. We'll just see how he goes. 18 is Martin Jessup. Off he goes now. Now, of course, an international road race winner. 2 times, of course, at the Northwest 200. 31-year-old from Nottingham, Daniel Hegarty, away next. Daniel Hegarty on the Top Gun racing bike. And now the last of the seeded entry, it's the retained fireman from Lincolnshire, Ivan Linton, away. Next to leave will be Derek Shields, number 28 from Kildare in Ireland. Smoothly away, just a little hop at the bottom there of the front wheel. Now it's Jamie Coward of Radcliffe's Racing BMW. And next away is Horst Sager on the Kawasaki, number 22. Philip Crow will be next, number 36. Under the arch at the moment. Dan Stewart was out there at number 21. It is Big Phil Crow. Next will be number 30, Sam West. See that sun shining off the front of the bike. He's the last we're going to see away from the grandstand. Let's go to Glen Helen. Dave Christian.
Yes, I can hear noise coming up the valley, Tim. First man on the road will be seconds away from us now. The camera helicopter overhead as the first bike comes out of Glen Helen 2. Is it Bruce Anstey or is it the Norton? It's the Norton. Dave O'Johnson with Bruce Anstey in hot pursuit. Anstey obviously a little bit quicker, he's wheeled him in a bit, but Hillier looks to be pulling in on Anstey as well. He is. Hillier quickest so far to Glen Helen on the opening lap. We were speculating whether or not the Kiwi would catch the Kangaroo. Not quite, but he will do, I would think, before Ramsey. The race is pulling him in. There's Hutchinson. Hutchie safely through here on his opening lap, but a little bit heavy on the brakes, I thought. A little bit heavy coming into the corner, a little bit too hot. But he is safely clear of Huss on Glen Helen, but not quite as quick as James Hillier. Hillier at the moment, the fastest man in the opening sector. That's Michael Dunlop safely through on his opening lap. We'll just wait for his time to come through to us. And Dunlop through, still not as quick as the big man from Ramsey, Connor Cummins. He's safely through here on his opening lap as well, but it's still James Hillier. I've got the drop on everybody from the start line. He is 2 seconds quicker than Ian Hutchinson to here, but there's a long way to go yet in this 6-lap race. There's Dean Harrison. What can he do? Dean Harrison very, very quick yesterday, and we wait for Harrison's time to come in for us. It's going to be difficult with the leaderboard here. Derek Shields was 11th fastest in practice, and he's starting at 21st position. So his position is what we're going to need as Peter Hickman comes through. Hillier's still the quickest so far, but Dean Harrison is only just a second away from him. And that is a pretty good start from James Hillier. He's on the money this morning. Michael Rutter, 130 plus for him yesterday. Can Rutter make an impression at the top end of the leaderboard? And no, he doesn't. It's still Hillier with the early lead. 12 through, it's Gaz Johnson. And Gary Johnson doesn't make a dent on the top 5 either. It's still Hillier leading Harrison. Number 3, James Hillier leads number 9, Dean Harrison, by 1 second at Glen Helen on lap 1. That's Dan Neen safely through here. He's got a good start as well. 8th place for Dan Neen in the early stages of this 6-lap race. The next machine onto the brakes into the left-hander. That is number 15, William Dunlop. Again, William Dunlop safely through here on his opening lap into provisionally 11th place. But remember, we do need Derek Shields before we can give a full leaderboard. That is the unmistakable sound of Josh Brooks. But Josh, as he's already indicated, a little bit off the pace. He's down 13th fastest so far in the opening sector. 2 more come out. Here's someone being caught and someone making a climb up that leaderboard, I would think. Jessup and who was that second one? Steve Mercer. Jessup and Mercer both safely through here, but Jessup ahead of Mercer. That's Dan Hegarty, number 19, Dan Hegarty, again clear here on his opening lap. Your top 5 then, James Hillier leads Dean Harrison. Number 3, James Hillier leads number 9, Dean Harrison, by 1 second. In 3rd place, number 4, Ian Hutchinson. He's 1 second back. That's Ivan Linton through. So Ian Hutchinson 1 second back on Dean Harrison. In 4th place, number 6, Michael Dunlop. And Bruce Anstey then in 5th, and in 6th place, number 7, Connor Cummins. We're hearing that Guy Martin is off at Doran's Bend, and Ryder is perfectly okay, but Guy Martin out of the race early on. There is Derek Shields through, not making a big impression yet. Number 28, Derek Shields holding 18th position. I'll give you a leaderboard in a minute. We'll just take number 22 through, Horst Seiger. And your top 10 is number 1 in 1st place, number 3, James Hillier leads number 9, Dean Harrison, by 1 second. In 3rd place, number 4, Ian Hutchinson. He's 1 second back on Dean Harrison. In 4th place, number 6, Michael Dunlop. He is pretty much the same time as Ian Hutchinson. There is just 1,000th of a second separating them. In 6th place, number 7, Connor Cummins. He is 1 second back on Bruce Anstey. In 7th place, number 10, Peter Hickman. He's 1 second back on Cummins. In 8th place, number 14, Dan Neen. He is half a second down on Peter Hickman. In 10th place, number 1, Dave O'Johnson. He is 3 seconds back on Dan Neen. In 9th place, number 11, Michael Rutter. He is exactly the same time as Dave Johnson. In 11th place, number 15, William Dunlop. He is half a second down on Rutter. In 12th place, number 18, Martin Jessup. He is 1 second back on William Dunlop. In 13th place, number 12, Gary Johnson, who is a 10th of a second back on Martin Jessup. In 14th, number 29, Jamie Coward, who's 1 second down on Gary Johnson. And making up your top 15 at the moment is number 19, Dan Hegarty. He is 1 second back on Jamie Coward. Back to you in the grandstand.
James Hillier and Bruce Anstey both through the Solby Speed Trap at 191.7. Michael Dunlop 190.1. Dean Harrison is through at 186.9, so some good speeds there. James Hillier 0.8 ahead of Dean Harrison at Ballaugh Bridge. Michael Dunlop a further 1.3 down on Harrison in third, and Hutchinson 1.5 seconds down on Dunlop in fourth. Connor Cummins is up into fifth place at Ballaugh Bridge, and sixth is Bruce Anstey, but it's Hillier leading at Glen Helen. Hillier leading at Ballaugh Bridge. Is he going to be leading at Ramsey Hairpin? We'll be going very shortly with Roy Moore, but a great run, of course, as well from Dean Harrison. But let's go up to the north and Roy Moore.
Bikes at Ramsey, we can hear them coming. Will it be the same? Will it be the Norton first on the road into Ramsey on lap number 1? We'll have to wait and see. We just down the road. They'll be coming through the bumpy Cruikshanks corner and then up May Hill and then the left-hander at Whitegate, so named because of the white gates on the exit there. Then past the housing estate on the right-hand side, up through then and sweeping out of Stella Maris. But it certainly looks as though that Norton, I think, is still ahead on the road, is it? Well, we'll be able to tell you. It says no, it's yes, just ahead on the road from number 2, Bruce Anstey, but there's the leader, number 3, and he's got them in his sight through. James Hillier is well up now on the 3, so we'll be fully aware of the starting difference there being what it was, and certainly Will's made the up there. It's number 4, Ian Hutchinson through now. It's James Hillier still by 4 seconds now from Michael Dunlop, who should be next here at Ramsey Hairpin. Ian Hutchinson just gone through. There was 20 seconds starting difference. I think that's less now. Here's Michael now. Michael Dunlop at Ramsey on the Suzuki. Right over as far as you could go and then tucked in behind the bubble as he goes away. And it is James Hillier from Michael Dunlop by just over half a second. That is the difference here at Ramsey. Down in through the box. Front end chattering as the Connor Cummins is here now, number 7. Certainly through Ramsey, and he is holding on to that 5th place of those through so far. This could be Dean and should be Dean Harrison. It certainly is. Number 9 is the number, and he too absolutely over as far as it will go. And it is Dean Harrison now who leads at Ramsey. Dean Harrison leads James Hillier by half a second here at Ramsey. 3rd place for Michael Dunlop, number 6. He's half a second down on Hillier. And in 4th place, number 4, Ian Hutchinson, 3.5 seconds down on Michael Dunlop. Well, that was visible on the road. They started 20 seconds behind, and that was David Johnson in there amongst them as well. But certainly starting at number 1, he's down to 9th, because in 8th is number 11, Michael Rutter. He's the one you just heard going through, or will hear going through now. And there he is into the brilliant sunshine on the apex of the bend and round. And Michael Rutter holding on to 8th place, but he's 7 seconds down on Bruce Anstey. So the ones down to the first 7 have made a bit of a break for it. Number 12 is here now. Let's see where Dan Neen is fitting in. That's Gary Johnson is safely through, and Dan Neen gets the Penske 13 BMW locked up. The back end stepped out, but he got it round, and Dan Neen is holding on here at Ramsey to 7th place, but he's only 2.2 of a second down on Connor Cummins, so a battle of the locals there. But the race leader at Ramsey on lap number 1, number 9, Dean Harrison, by half a second from number 3, James Hillier. In 3rd place, number 6, Michael Dunlop, just half a second down on James Hillier. 4th for number 4, Ian Hutchinson, 3.5 seconds down on Dunlop. In 5th, number 10, Peter Hickman, just 1.5 seconds down on Ian Hutchinson. In 6th place, number 7, Connor Cummins. There's Josh Brooks on the Norton going through. 7th, number 14, Dan Neen. He's only 0.2 of a second down on Connor Cummins. In 8th, number 2, Bruce Anstey. He's only half a second down on Dan Neen. In 9th, number 11, Michael Rutter. 7 seconds down on Bruce Anstey. 10th for number 1, David Johnson. 1.5 seconds down on Michael Rutter. Steve Mercer, I think, has made it to Ramsey. It looks as though he has, so it's still going okay. There's Steve now. To the brakes now. Number 19 is here with us now. Peels it through. Dan Hegarty. So where do they slot into the equation? They're not challenging, because that gap of 7 seconds between Rutter and Anstey there, that seems to be then setting off the lower part of the leaderboard. In 9th, Michael Rutter. 10th, David Johnson. 11th, William Dunlop. And 12th, Martin Jessup. 13th, Gary Johnston. 14th, Jamie Coward. 15th, Josh Brooks. In 16th, number 19, Daniel Hegarty. 17th, 28, Derek Shields. And 3 of them going through there. Absolutely 1, 2, 3 as they went through. And Ivan Linton was in them. We had Steve Mercer through, so that would be Dan Stewart, Daniel Hegarty. And then in 14th place, number 29, Jamie Coward. He's just 2 seconds down on Gary Johnson. 15th for number 16, Josh Brooks. 1 second down on Jamie Coward. 16th, number 19, Dan Hegarty. Just 0.2 of a second down on Josh Brooks. 17th place for number 21, Dan Stewart. 4.5 seconds down on Dan Hegarty. And 18th for number 22, Horse Saiga, who I think was just down on the one that we've got ahead of him there, but certainly Philip Crowe is caught into 20th place here at Ramsey, and Sam West is one to look out for, holding on to 18th at Ramsey. But no doubting the race leader, Dean Harrison, but only by half a second here at Ramsey. Back to the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade. Stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories. And the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
What an opening lap this is then with the RST Superbike TT. We've had 3 different leaders, because I can tell you at the bungalow, Michael Dunlop leads by 0.2 of a second ahead of Dean Harrison, number 9, and Hillier, who was the leader at Glen Helen and at Ballaugh Bridge. He is down to 3rd. Hutchinson remains in 4th place. But we are looking to see who gets to Cronknamona first. And we've got Hillier there, Anstey's there, David Johnson's there, and Ian Hutchinson. So lights on for bike 3, 2, 1 and 4. And I can tell you also it's just flicked on for number 6, Michael Dunlop, who is the leader at Cronknamona as well. We've got to slot in Dean Harrison into that equation. And first bike coming up onto Glencrutchery Road should be James Hillier. Looks as if he is leading on the road now. And let's just get a leaderboard on our screen here. And we look up, we can hear a bike coming. It is Hillier. And across the line goes Hillier, 130.83 for Hillier. And it's Anstey at 129.11 and Davo Johnson at 127.84. And that is Hutchinson, and Hutchinson 130.467 miles per hour on his opening lap, but he's 2.8 seconds behind Hillier. We wait for Michael Dunlop on the Suzuki. Here he is. And Dunlop 131.135 miles per hour on his opening lap. Standing start on that brand new Suzuki. And he's 2.4 ahead of Hillier, but we're waiting, of course, for Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison, bike number 9. We should see Connor Cummins. Here he is. Connor Cummins across the line, slots into 4th at the moment. But is it going to be Dunlop or Dean Harrison that lead this race? Here's Harrison. And Dean Harrison is 2nd. 1.8 is the margin behind number 6, Michael Dunlop. Dunlop leads. Harrison is in 2nd. It's Hillier 3rd. Hutchinson 4th. Connor Cummins in 5th position as Peter Hickman now goes into 5th position. 130.3 for him. 130.896 for Dean Harrison. David Johnson 127.842. Bruce Anstey 129. Should be Michael Rutter coming across the start-finish line any moment now. Bruce Anstey 129.109. There's Rutter, just a little indication from his left foot as he went through there, possibly to his pit crew of something that needs attending to. But Michael Rutter on the BMW is in 8th position, 128.045. So across the line there is Dan Neen. He goes into 6th position. And Gary Johnson, the last across the line. So let's give you the leaderboard then here at the grandstand at the end of the opening lap of the RST Superbike TT for 2017. It is number 6, Michael Dunlop on the Suzuki, who leads. 17 minutes, 15.790 seconds, 131.135. William Dunlop crossed the line there. He slots into 11th. Second is number 9, Dean Harrison on the Kawasaki. 130.896. He's 1.8 down on Dunlop. Third is James Hillier on the Kawasaki. James Hillier, Josh Brooks of the Norton through there. James Hillier is half a second down on Dean Harrison. In fourth, it's the Tyco BMW of Ian Hutchinson, 130.467 miles per hour, 2.8. He is down on Hillier. Fifth is number 10, Peter Hickman. Peter Hickman is 1.3 down on Hutchinson. Sixth is number 14, Dan Neen. Dan Neen 4.7 down on Hickman. Seventh is number 7, Connor Cummins on the Padgett Honda. 129 as Daniel Hegarty goes through. 129.704 for Conrad on the opening lap. He's just 0.034 of a second down on Neen, so a real battle between the Manxmen there in the top 10. 8th is number 2, Bruce Anstey, 4.8 down on Cummins. 9th, number 11, Michael Rutter, he's 8.7 down on Anstey. And 10th is the Norton of David Johnson, 1.86 down on Rutter. William Dunlop is in 11th position, number 15. 12th is number 12, Gary Johnson. 13th is number 16, Josh Brooks. And William Dunlop, 3.5 down on Johnson in 10th. 4.3 ahead, though, of Gary Johnson, who's in 12th. And he is 1.3 ahead of Brooks. Jamie Coward, number 29, is in 14th position. He's 1.1 down on... let's have a look. 1.1 down on Brooks. 15th is Daniel Hegarty. Then it's Derek Shields, Horst Seiger, Dan Stewart, Martin Jessup. Out to Glenn Helen and Dave Christian.
James Hillier just through here now on his second lap. And that noise is the Norton Hutchinson. And Dave Johnson, Ian Hutchinson, James Hillier, Bruce Anstey, all through here on their second laps. Hillier with the early advantage, but that may just change now as Michael Dunlop comes through. Dunlop leads Hillier now by 5 seconds. So that's 5 seconds the advantage of Glenn Helen on lap 2. Michael Dunlop has over James Hillier. But of course, we do have Dean Harrison to slot in there when the number 9 machine makes its way here. Engine noise, you can hear it bouncing off the sides of the valley as the machine flashes out to Glen Helen too. Onto the brakes, it's the big man, Connor Cummins. Gets that length right over, and he's hotly followed on the road though by Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison reeling him in, and Harrison does indeed maintain that second place. So Dunlop leads Harrison. The gap was 1.8 at the grandstand, it's 1.4 at Glen Helen. So Dean Harrison taking just about half a second out of Dunlop. It's not much, but all adds up. And that is Peter Hickman. Hickman, 5th place he hangs on to. And Peter Hickman going really well. And fifth place at the moment, number 10, he is 2.8 seconds down on 4th place, Ian Hutchinson. But the gap there, Michael Dunlop to Dean Harrison, 1.5 seconds, well, 1.485 if we're being precise, but a second and a half, very, very little. And there's action going to be coming up in pit lane at the end of the lap, and that could easily change. James Hillier currently holding on to that 3rd place. Number 11, it's Michael Rutter. Rutter safely through on his second lap, but Dunlop leads Harrison by 1.5 seconds. Hillier is in 3rd. He's 4 seconds back on Harrison. And in 4th place, Ian Hutchinson, number 4, 2 seconds back on Hillier. That is Dan Neen. Dan Neen, 7th place, so he was ahead, I think, of Connor Cummins at grandstand. It's dropped back a little bit now as Gary Johnson comes through on his second lap. So it's all chopping and changing at the top, but Michael Dunlop just about hanging on to the lead, 1.5 seconds over Dean Harrison. Making up the rest of the top 10, Peter Hickman is in 5th. In 6th place, number 7, Connor Cummins. He's 6 seconds down on Hickman. That's William Dunlop through. William Dunlop, number 15, safely through here on his second lap, but just outside the top 10 for William at the moment. Cummins, number 7, is in 6th place. In 7th place, number 14, Dan Neen. He's a second down on Cummins. And in 8th place, number 2, Bruce Anstey, who's 10 seconds back on Neen. Listen to that engine noise as Josh Brooks towers his way through Glen Helen on his second lap. Again, Josh Brooks just holding position outside the top 10 at the moment. On the opening lap, riders we noticed, Daley Matheson, number 56. He was 16th at Glen Helen on the opening sector. He dropped to 19th by Balaf, but that's a pretty good effort from Daley Matheson. Craig Neve, number 44. He was holding 21st position at Glen Helen. And the local man, Andrew Dudgeon, number 57, was 26th here at Glen Helen. That's Dan Hegarty through, and 2 more come out of Glen Helen too. Flick it to the right and into the left-hander. 2 together on the road. Martin Jessup and Steve Mercer both safely through here, and they're just hanging outside the top 10. Jessup currently 15th, Mercer 16th, but we'll await the arrival, I think, of Derek Shields. There is Derek Shields, speak of the devil. Shields, no, he just drops in behind Hegarty. But Jamie Coward has had a good run. Jamie Coward, number 29, he's had a fantastic start to the race, holding 12th position at the moment. So your top 10, Michael Dunlop, number 6, leads number 9, Dean Harrison, by a second and a half. In 3rd place, number 3, James Hillier, he's 4 back on Harrison. In 4th, number 4, Ian Hutchinson, 2 back on Hillier. In 5th, number 10, Peter Hickman. We'll take 21 through there, Dan Stewart. And we also have 22 right behind him on the road, and will be ahead on corrected time, Horst Seiger. In 7th place, number 14, Dan Neen. He's 1 second back on 6th place, Connor Cummins. In 8th, number 2, Bruce Anstey, 10 back on Neen. In 9th, number 11, Michael Rutter. He's 5 back on Bruce Anstey. And making up your top 10, number 1, Dave O'Johnson, who's 3 seconds back on Michael Rutter. Back to you at the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade. Stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories. And the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Michael Dunlop is missing. He hasn't made it to Balap Ridge, so there's a new leader there. It's number 9, Dean Harrison, who is 5.3 seconds ahead of number 3, James Hillier. And Ian Hutchinson is 3rd, but he's closing in on James Hillier. He's only 0.4 down. Then it's Hickman, Cummins, Neen, Rutter, Johnson, David Johnson, Bruce Anstey, William Dunlop and Gary Johnson. That's the situation at Balap Ridge. 2 retirements, Ivan Linton at the pits, and also number 27, Daniel Cooper, and additional non-starters, Bjorn Gunnarsson, number 48, 37, David Sellers, and number 76, Mark Goodings. Michael Dunlop has retired at Hanley's. He is perfectly okay, Michael Dunlop. A retirement at Hanley's and out of the race. Let's go to Ramsey and Roy.
Yes, and Dean Harrison will be fully aware of that. He probably would see him there at Hanley's, but this is the first man on the road into Ramsey hairpin, down through the box. Beautiful approach there by number 3, James Hillier. There was 3 of them together on the previous lap. Second man and third now here at Ramsey, and it's number 4, Ian Hutchinson. So he too will not be aware. He's past number 1. That's David Johnson on the Norton, but certainly he wouldn't be aware, though the pair of them wouldn't be aware that Michael Dunlop has stopped. So that is the case, but I'm sure that Dean Harrison will have noticed, and certainly at Ramsey hairpin at the moment it's Ian Hutchinson who is just holding a half a second advantage over James Hillier. There's number 2, Bruce Anstey, going through. Would you believe it was his grandfather who built that wall at Handley's Corner where Michael Dunlop has stepped, or was part of the team that built it anyway? Good information there from Barry Wood. But from here, we've just got to get Dean Harrison through now to confirm it. He's with Connor Cummins here at Ramsey, so he's picked that 20 seconds up there. Dean Harrison, Connor Cummins, both through Ramsey. So what does that mean? It's Dean Harrison by 7.5 seconds here at Ramsey from Ian Hutchinson in second place. But Ian Hutchinson has only got that half a second advantage of in third place James Hillier, number 3. It's then, this should be Peter Hickman now, the highest number through, number 10. Just confirm it is, yes, the Smiths BMW is through Ramsey. Where does Peter Hickman fit into it? Well, it's third, number 3, James Hillier. He's only half a second down on Ian Hutchinson. In fourth for number 10, Peter Hickman. 2 seconds down only on James Hillier. It's fifth for number 7, Connor Cummins. 10 seconds down on Peter Hickman. In sixth, number 1, David Johnson, 17 seconds down on Connor Cummins, and in 7th place number 2, Bruce Anstey. He's 10 seconds down on David Johnson. That could be altered now by the arrival of Michael Rutter. We're expecting him to be here very shortly. The highest number through, it is number 11, Michael Rutter. How many times has he come into Ramsey Hairpin on machinery of many and varied rides over the years? And Michael Rutter holding on to 8th place, just 1.5 seconds down on David Johnson. And Bruce Anstey there's Dan Neen, more controlled than he was the last time. Where does Dan go into? Dan goes into 6th place, number 14, Dan Neen, and he's only 1 second down on Connor Cummins. So that battle of the Manxmen has gone to lap 2 here at Ramsey. Number 12 is here with us now. That's Gary Johnson. So Gary Johnson holding on to 10th place here, but he's 8 seconds down on Bruce Anstey. But no doubting the race leader. At the demise of Michael Dunlop, mechanical out at Handley's corner, the race being led by number 9, Dean Harrison, by now a substantial margin compared to what it was earlier. Number 15 is there, William Dunlop. So he'll be slotting up another place on the leaderboard now as his brother has gone out, and certainly he is now holding on to 9th place, number 15, William Dunlop, but he's 8 seconds down on Michael Rutter, but he's only half a second ahead of Bruce Anstey. Bruce Anstey holding on to that 10th place. No doubt you can hear that Norton in the background. That's Josh Brooks going through. So all battle at the front. How close was it on the opening lap? Certainly very, very close indeed. But Dean Harrison now, substantial compared to the first lap. 7.5 seconds lead over Ian Hutchinson as they head for tyre and fuel. And that will be interesting as well. The teams will be getting there involved in the race now as to who can do it the quickest. But that battle between Ian Hutchinson and James Hillier, well, half a second, absolutely nothing, as 19 is here with us now. 19, Dan Hegarty is through, and it looks as though certainly the next machine, that is the one off number 18. Yes, I was just going to say 18 there, Martin Jessup, and Steve Mercer still going, number 17, and not dropping too much time on the run here to Ramsey. Holding on to 16th place is Steve Mercer. 15 seconds though down on Martin Jessup. There's number 29, Jamie Coward. Let's slot him into place. He goes into 11th place, 8 seconds down on Bruce Anstey, but virtually tying with, in 12th place, Josh Brooks. So look out for that one. Very, very close indeed here at Ramsey. At the front, it's Dean Harrison by 7.5 seconds, with some battles going on down the field. But it's Dean Harrison by that 7.5 seconds. James Hillier, though, and Ian Hutchinson, only half a second in it. Powered by MediaTek Advertising. Back to the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade. Stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories. And the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising.
Manx Radio TT. What a race this is developing into. We've got action, of course, down here at the grandstand down in pit lane, and we're going to give another couple of retirements out here as we wait for James Hillier's now at Cronknamona, but Michael Dunlop confirmation, Hanley's Corner just before Max Cottage, and Derek Shields has retired at Kirkmichael Village. But what are we going to see here at the grandstand? There'll be some nervous pit crews down there. Light on for 4 and 1 as well at Cronknamona. So David Johnson, Ian Hutchinson and James Hillier are there, and Dean Harrison, well, he's just had his lead cut a little bit actually up the bungalow. It's 6.5 seconds rather than 7.5. So we've got James Hillier about to come out at Governor's. He'll be coming up onto Glencrutchery Road and past the St George's Football Club and past the car park. We can hear the klaxon sounding. He's going to be making his way into Gasoline Alley for a pit stop at the end of lap 2. And let's have a look at the leaderboard here and see what he's done. 130.290 for Hillier. And the more klaxons sound, but we've got a little wait before Dean Harrison makes it here. James Hillier 130.2, Ian Hutchinson 130.279, David Johnson 128.911. Let's go down to Chris.
Dean Harrison's lead at Cronknamona was 5.173 seconds on James Hillier, who in turn had a 2.75 on Hickman. Hickman jumping up to third, then it's Hutchinson who's dropped down to fourth place through Cronknamona there now. So Hillier in on the pit stop now with the fuel in. So numbers 3 and number 4 and number 1 all in the pit here now. And here's Bruce Anstey on the Paget's Honda. Goes past us now into his pit. A very well-drilled team already there now. Anstey slotting in at the moment to fourth place, but we're waiting for Harrison. Number 9, we look up the road. You hear the klaxon go twice. Here's Dean Harrison. Over the line he goes now. And the lead that Harrison has is 5.437 seconds. That's what it is. And he's just I've seen a board held up by somebody there now. So Hutchie's away. Hutchie is out. James Hillier having a few problems getting going, so Hillier losing a fair bit of time there now. And there's the Norton of Davy Johnson getting away. But it's Dean Harrison we're concentrating on. 5.437 was the gap. Peter Hickman is now in third place. Hickman 1.692 behind James Hillier. But Hillier losing a bit of time, and Hutchie down in fourth. Connor Cummins in fifth. David Johnson in sixth, and Bruce Anstey, your top 7 at the moment. But your leader getting a little fuel in. Obviously, a new rear tyre got in. Just move that socket off the road, Dean. Just nice and calm there. Just adjust the lid. Just closing the visor up and down, just to make sure that it goes. And there's Bruce away. Stand by the top of Bray Hill. Connor's in. Connor's about 3/4 of the way down from the top of the pits on the right-hand side. Big Dave just working on the bike there now. And there's your race leader. A good stop by the Silicon team. And Tim O'Hanlon will now have the stopwatches ready, but it's Dean Harrison. Well, what a lead he has, 5.4 seconds. Hillier second place, Hickman up to third, only 6 seconds, let's call it 7 seconds, covers the top 3. Hutchinson with a drop down, and Hickman losing a bit of time with a clunk, and Connor having a problem in the pits here. Connor's just got to stay calm. They're having trouble with the rear wheel spindle. Dan Neen's in now, so Connor was in round about, what did we say, Connor up to about 5th place, but he's losing a bit of time here is Connor. We'll just have a little look there now. Just the adjuster, they just can't seem to get that in. The spindle just won't go through. I think that's what the problem is there. The guy's staying nice and calm on it. And Tim, give us a nod when you are ready to go with those times. I think Hillier did lose a little bit of time. So Rutter in, Connor's in, also Dan Neen's in. Another bike coming out. That's Gary Johnson on the Suzuki number 12 here. And Connor, well, massive disappointment. I can hear the groan from Ramsey from here actually now as another bike comes in to the pit box area. The old stop box used to be there, but Connor's losing a heck of a lot of time. He's going to be dropping. But Hillier, was it slow?
It was slow. He's down into 4th place now. After the pit stops, number 9, Dean Harrison, leads number 4, Ian Hutchinson, by 4 seconds. And Hutchinson has got a 4-second lead over the 3rd place man, Hickman. And Hillier is now 10 seconds behind Hickman in 4th.
Thank you very much for that. So that's Dan Neen just going. Connor's still in the pits here now. Massive disappointment. William Dunlop in, number 15, and also Josh Brooks. But Tim Glover up there. Connor, the frustration on Connor there now. So he's going to put one of those Connor Cummins laps in now, I reckon. Shakes his head as he leaves. Tim?
Yeah, desperation really for Connor. Dan Neen has picked up a 30-second penalty for exceeding the speed limit here in pit lane. So that's not been a good pit stop for the Manx riders there in the top 10, I'm afraid to say. But coming in, let's just consolidate those speeds. And Dean Harrison 130.907 on lap 2. James Hillier 130.290. Hickman 130.603, but a slower pit stop. Ian Hutchinson 130.279 miles per hour. Connor Cummins 129.530, but a heck of a long pit stop. Number 14, Dan Neen, too quick out of the pit stop, 129.198. Coming in, it was 7th for David Johnson at 128.911 on the Norton. 8th was Michael Rutter. Michael Rutter, 128.246 miles per hour. 9th was William Dunlop, 127.639. 10th was Bruce Anstey, coming in at 125.790. 11th, number 16, Josh Brooks. Josh, 127.373. Up to 12th and going really well on the Radcliffe's Racing BMW is Jamie Coward, number 29, 126.948. That was a lap there for Jamie Coward, and that is his quickest lap. I didn't make a note of his first lap. That might have been even quicker, but he's certainly gone quicker in this race than he's ever gone round the mountain course before. Coming into the pits, 13th was held by number 12, Gary Johnson. 14th was number 19, Daniel Hegarty. Just slotting in now at 15th is number 30, going well. That's Sam West. And that's all we've time for. Harrison leads, Willie at Glen Helen, Dave Christian.
Yes, that's the $24,000 question, Tim. We're waiting the first man on the road, and here he is, out of Glen Helen 2. Little flick to the right, breaks down the gearbox. That's Ian Hutchinson. He was first out of the pit, and he's first to here, but James Hillier is right behind him. Hillier catching Hutchinson on the road, trying to make up for that poor pit stop. Here's Davo Johnson. Hutchinson at the moment leads Hillier by 13 seconds, but we need number 9 first. That's Dean Harrison. Next man on the road should be Bruce Anstey, I think, just going on the order. They came out of the pit lane, and Bruce Anstey was holding, what was he, 8th or 9th, something like that. He might pick up some time on Connor. Here is Bruce. Safely through here on his third lap, and he is outside of the top 3, but here's Dean Harrison now, and leads by 5 seconds at Glen Helen on lap 3, 4.887 if we're being precise, but number 9, Dean Harrison, with the lead over number 4, Ian Hutchinson, of 5 seconds. Next man on the road. Peter Hickman, and podium at the moment for Hickman, just it tucks in behind Ian Hutchinson. So number 10, Peter Hickman, slots into our provisional leaderboard into 3rd place. He's 5 seconds down on 2nd place man Ian Hutchinson. And James Hillier nudged down to 4th position. Number 3, James Hillier, he is 8 seconds down on 3rd place Hickman. And we'll await the next man on the road. Just some of those middle order guys I've been having a look at. Daley Matheson, we were following early on. He was holding 22nd position at Ballaugh Bridge on lap 2. That's number 56, Daley Matheson. Brian McCormick with a good run, number 43. He was 20th position at Ballaugh Bridge on lap 2. And number 72, Barry Ferber, who's been having a great week here. He was holding on to 36th place at Glen Helen. That's Michael Rutter. Michael Rutter safely through here on his 3rd lap as well, holding 6th position at the moment. But right behind him is Dan Neen. He'll be looking to make up that time he's lost in the pits, and he's fallen well down as Dan Neen. Michael Rutter was 6th place, Dan Neen currently 8th, but there's a few more who are going to come in ahead of him, and he is well down on Bruce. Bruce Anstey is 7th at the moment, with Neen tucking in just behind him. There's Connor now. No bike problems there, nice and tidy through the corner, but indeed he has lost a huge chunk of time in the pits as Gaz Johnson comes through. And Connor down to, he's dropped to as far as 10th position at the moment, but that could go a little bit further. Here's William Dunlop, and I'm sure he'll drop into the leaderboard. 7th place. He pushes Connor down even further, so that time in the pits looks like Connor's lost a minute or so in there maybe, and disastrous for him, but if he just keeps his head on the shoulders and play the thinking man's race, I'm sure we've got plenty more opportunity for him to recover some of that time and maybe nudge up towards a top 10 finish, but just hovering outside at the moment with other races to come. But it is Dean Harrison who is in charge here this afternoon. Michael Dunlop's retirement has given Dean a great opportunity here for a big bike win. Josh Brooks with a great sound from that Norton. He pushes Connor Cummins down even further. Josh Brooks now nudges into 11th place. And Connor Cummins, that disastrous pit stop for him, really put him well outside of the challenge for the top 10, because there's going to be a few more guys coming through who are definitely going to go in front of him. But Harrison leads Hutchinson with Hickman in third. 18 and I think that 19, Dan Hegarty, Martin Jessup and Dan Hegarty together on the road, but Dan Hegarty ahead on corrected time. He was started 10 seconds behind Jessup, so if he can keep him in sight, he knows that he's going to be ahead of him on corrected time. That is 29, Jamie Coward. Great run from Jamie Coward. And Steve Mercer, number 17, also through on his third lap. Jamie Coward just holds on to 10th position, and another one to benefit from the Cummins pit stop. Jamie Coward, number 29, just holding 10th position at the moment. And Steve Mercer, Connor, he just drops in behind Connor, does Steve Mercer, number 17. Steve Mercer in 16th position. Your leaderboard is then first place, number 9, Dean Harrison. In second place, number 4, Ian Hutchinson, who's 5 back. In third place, number 10, Peter Hickman, he's 5 back on Hutchie. In fourth, number 3, James Hillier, he's 8 seconds back on Hickman. And in fifth place, number 1, Davo Johnson, who's 26 seconds back on James Hillier. Back to you at the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade. Stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories. And the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Blackbridge, Dean Harrison, 4.9, call it 5 seconds ahead of number 4, Ian Hutchinson. Peter Hickman maintaining that third place. Spike number 10, he's 5.8 down on Hutchinson. Another excess speed in pit lane. Brian McCormack's got a 30-second penalty. And, well, the pits really did sort things out, and 55 seconds it was for Ian Hutchinson. 52 for Bruce Anstey was quickest. Roy at Ramsey.
Yep. 5 seconds the difference between them at Blackbridge, and certainly it'll be interesting to see whether that's been maintained here as they approach Ramsey, because Ian Hutchinson is here now, back end shaking, but by gum, number 3 is not letting him go. James Hillier has made a bit of ground on there, I would think, but Ian Hutchinson through, and certainly he is 13 seconds ahead of James Hillier, but that's not what we're looking for. The next should be number 1 plate off the Norton here. We'll let you hear that going away from Ramsey hairpin as he drops it down through the box and tight to the inside. Listen to this. Just getting it onto the power band now there, because he just kind of rolled the throttle back as he lifted his left hand off the bars. And again, the flies must be terrific there on the west coast, and certainly getting clear vision for his trip over the mountain. Has Dean Harrison broken the beam? He certainly has. It's down to 4 seconds, but he's right behind Bruce Anstey, who maybe just holds him up a little bit right on the apex of the corner, but Bruce Anstey keeps it tight to the right. Dean Harrison goes past him on the exit. It's 4.2 seconds here at Ramsey. Dean Harrison still leading in Hutchinson by that. But Peter Hickman, number 10, this could be him here now. Certainly is, and very, very quick indeed. He was Bruce Anstey-ish out of Stella Maris, and don't discount him, because he is holding on to that third place, only 6 seconds down on Ian Hutchinson. So 10 seconds covering the top 3 here at Ramsey on lap number 3. They've been in for pit stops and new rubber, and certainly the disappointment, the groans, you could hear them in Ramsey for the troubles there of Connor Cummins. But how many times has that happened? The mechanics can't practice it under pressure. They can do it as many times as they like when they're kind of doing it, just like Formula One, really. It happens in there as well. And certainly trying to get small washers into small places or chain adjusters on. Absolutely, you just can't describe the disappointment that he must be feeling. And I don't know whether Dan Neen understands German or not for pit lane limiter, but certainly his 30 seconds has made that very interesting indeed. Another machine interview now. That's Michael Rutter down into bottom gear. He turns it round too. No visor change for him, and he gets it absolutely on the power going through. Back end shaking again for 14. Dan Neen with that 30-second time penalty. It's Dean Harrison, Ian Hutchinson and Peter Hickman. We've told you that. In fourth place, number 3, James Hillier. He's 7 seconds down on Peter Hickman. In fifth place, number 1, David Johnson. A massive in this race, 36 seconds down on James Hillier. Sixth place for 11, Michael Rutter, 2 seconds only though down on David Johnson. Now seventh, number 14, Dan Neen. He's made it up to 8 seconds down on Michael Rutter, so he's got ahead of in 8th place Bruce Anstey, who is now 4 seconds behind him. But William Dunlop, who was the bike you could hear just going through there, number 15, very, very neat riding style of William Dunlop, has taken him up to 8th place, and he's only 3.5 seconds down on Dan Neen in 7th. That puts Bruce Anstey, number 2, down to 9th, and then Connors, the one who's just gone through now, through his hometown, and certainly made but a 1 minute disadvantage there between him and Bruce Anstey. What was that at Ballabridge? News coming through that Gary Johnson is out at Sulby Bridge. So Sulby Bridge, Doran's Bends for Guy Martin. That's just the little left-hander after Belig Bridge on the course. Ballyspur, then Belig, and then Doran's on the left-hander. So kind of a all drama-built race, as they say, but certainly very close at the front. Only 4.2 seconds ahead. Josh Brooks. He too keeping the Norton low down. But then the high revving engine gets in when it gets into the power band and away. Where does Josh Brooks slot into? He slots into 10th place, number 16, Josh Brooks, but he's 30 seconds down on Bruce Anstey. So that puts Connor Cummins even further back now into 13th place. Number 18, certainly safely through, and 19 as well. Where do they slot into the equation? Well, certainly 18 is Martin Jessup. And then we had number 19, Dan Hegarty, so they slot into 10th and 12th respectively. So at Ramsey Hairpin, the news that it's Dean Harrison, number 9, by 4.2 seconds from in second place, number 4, Ian Hutchinson, who in turn is 6 seconds behind Ian Hutchinson. In fourth place, number 3, James Hillier, 7.5 seconds down on Peter Hickman. Back to the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade. Stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories. And the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Ian Hutchinson's on a charge because that gap has come tumbling down to just 1.5 seconds up at the bungalow. Harrison leading over Hutchinson. Hutchinson was 2.8 seconds quicker from Ramsey Hairpin up to the bungalow. So wait for the lights to come on, and they are for number 4 and 3. That's Hutchinson and Hillier at Cronknamona. So Hutchinson's really pulled the pin on the second part of this lap and has just nibbled away now into that lead of Dean Harrison. Certainly significantly quicker. Looking for the lights now at Cronknamona. Number 1 is there. That's the Norton, David Johnson. The Australian has made it through there as well. But Ian Hutchinson looks as if he will be with the gap between them leading on the road ahead of James Hillier. They should be coming into view very shortly here as they head out onto lap 4 of this fascinating RST Superbike race. There they go. There's Hutchie. There's Hillier. And 124.3, of course, including the pit stop as the travelling marshal just heads out from underneath me. James Hillier, 122.742, and let's look at the gap at Cronknamona. And the gap at Cronknamona, 0.028 of a second between Harrison and Hutchinson. 0.2, yeah, it's still Harrison, but it's 0.028. It's tumbling down. David Johnson through on the Norton, 121.252. And we've got Dean Harrison now at, of course, Cronknamona. Also, Peter Hickman is there too. Bruce Anstey as well. And they'll be coming into view past us here at the grandstand. This is Harrison. Bike sounds fine, but it's Ian Hutchinson who now leads here at the end of lap 3. Ian Hutchinson is 0.4 seconds ahead of second place number 9, Dean Harrison. And Harrison is just 3.1 ahead of number 10, Peter Hickman. Hillier in fourth, he's 7.3 down on Hickman. And it sounded okay, Chris Kinley down there. Did you notice anything from where you are about Dean Harrison's bike? It sounded good.
Spot on, Tim. Yeah, it did sound spot on.
So, yeah, check on that. So it must be just that Ian Hutchinson's really got in the zone and comfortable with those, of course, new Dunlop tyres that he's got on. The change from Metzler to Dunlop on that Tyco BMW, and he, I think, was pushing for that himself with the team, and they've listened to him on last year. Couldn't get the Superbike in a stable way that he wanted, and was much more comfortable out there on the Super Stock. So, my word, we've had some leads here, haven't we? Lap 1, we had Hillier leading at Glen Helen and Belap Bridge, and Harrison nipped in then on lap 1 at Ramsey Hairpin. Then it was Michael Dunlop until his retirement, and then we've had Dean Harrison all the way from Belap Bridge on lap 2 until the end of lap 3, when it's now Ian Hutchinson who leads. So Michael Rutter's up to 5th, David Johnson 6th, 7th is number 14, Dan Neen, and 8th is number 2, Bruce Anstey. So, Hutchinson leads by 0.4 ahead of number 9, Dean Harrison. Harrison, in turn, has a 3.1 second advantage over number 10, Peter Hickman. A retirement to tell you about. Steve Mercer has retired at Crookshanks, is perfectly okay, and probably in need of a rest after all the trauma he's had the last few days. Didn't go out yesterday. 4th place then, James Hillier, 7.3 seconds down on Hickman. 5th is number 11, Michael Rutter. He is 47 seconds down on Hillier. 6th is number 1, David Johnson on the Norton, 1.2 down on Rutter. 7th is number 14, Dan Neen. He's 5.4 seconds down on Johnson. 8th is number 2, Bruce Anstey. He's 6.3 down on Neen. 9th is number 15 into the top 10, William Dunlop. He is 4.4 seconds down on Anstey. And then 10th at the moment on the screen to the 10 bikes that have gone past us here at the grandstand. Number 7, Connor Cummins on the Padgett's Honda, but he's 56.8 down on William Dunlop after that really awkward pit stop that they had down there. A lot of time lost. Through there is number 16, of course, Josh Brooks on the Norton, and he is into 10th place ahead of Connor Cummins. He's 25.7 down on William Dunlop in 9th, and he is 31 seconds ahead of number 7, Connor Cummins, who is in 11th place. So, end of lap 3, out onto lap 4. It's another pit stop at the end of this lap, but it is Ian Hutchinson who has that 0.4, half a second advantage over Dean Harrison. Let's go to Glen Helen, Dave Christian.
Yes, thanks, Tim. It's interesting the way that Hutchie's caught Dean Harrison. Two together, Hutchinson and Hillier on the road. Fantastic sight that'll be. We can get your cameras ready down at the end of Croncavoddy, down towards the 11th milestone. They are together on the road. You throw a blanket over the pair of them. In fact, you throw a hanky over the pair of them, that tight. Hutchinson and Hillier, 2 on the road together, number 4 and number 3. But of course, the tail of the tape will be when Dean Harrison gets here. Slightly higher start time, so we have to wait a few seconds for him to get out this far. Next machine on the road should be the Norton of Dave Johnson. I can hear a loud record approaching, and that can only mean one thing. Here he comes. Flick to the right, down a gearbox, onto the brakes. Gradually feed in the power as he makes makes that climb up towards the right-hander at the top of Craig Willys. And here's the Dean Harrison, the man we've been waiting for. Nice and tight from Dean. Just it's a little bit of drift on the back wheel as he puts the power on, but Harrison has taken the lead from Hutchinson. Dean Harrison, he is ahead of Glenn Helen. And he's followed by Peter Hickman on the road. It's Harrison leads Hutchinson by 0.6 of a second. That's all is in it on lap 4. Dean Harrison with the lead, 0.6 of a second. Peter Hickman in third. He is 6 seconds down on number 4, Ian Hutchinson. I mean, you can put Harrison, you can say Harrison and Hutchinson at half a second, really. That's about the same time. There's very little in this race, and this could be won or lost in the pits at the end of this lap. Peter Hickman, number 10 in third place. He's 6 back on Hutchie. In fourth, number 3, James Hillier. He is 4 seconds down on Hickman. And in fifth place at the moment, number 1, Davo Johnson. But I suspect that's going to change as some of the quicker riders come through at the higher start numbers. But essentially what we've got on lap 4 of this race is we've got about 10 seconds covering the top 4. This is anybody's for the taking, and with one more pit stop to come, it really could go in any direction. What a fantastic finish to the opening race. This was well worth waiting for. Now machine fires out at Glen Helen 2. There's a little flick to the right. That's Michael Rutter. Pulls that big bike down. He's closely followed by Dan Lean on the road, but Dan Lean a little bit behind because of that pit lane penalty. He's gradually reeling Michael Rutter in, though. Rutter at the moment, number 11, holds on to 5th place. He's 53 seconds back on James Hillier, but he is being caught by Dan Lean, who's trying to recover that lost time. In 6th place, number 14, Dan Lean, who's just 3 seconds down on Michael Rutter. Pushes Davo Johnson now further down that leaderboard. 7th place. Here's the big guy. Another man trying to desperately make up some lost time is Connor Cummins. But he is, well, at the moment 9th, but I think at the grandstand at the end of that last lap, he was just inside the top 20. Yes, 16th at the grandstand. So we've got a few more to come. Sam West, Hust, Zeiger, Martin Jessup, Daniel Hegarty, Jamie Coward, Josh Brooks, all potentially going to go ahead, and William Dunlop as well, as William Dunlop comes through, all potentially going to go ahead of Connor Cummins. So still a lot of work to do for the Ramsey man, but if we can get a clean pit stop, we can maybe just hope that he'll get a top 10 finish. The higher start numbers we've been having a look at. Sam West up to 16th at Glen Helen on lap 3. That's number 30. Keep an eye out for him. And also number 56, Daley Matheson, inside the top 20. 19th for Daley Matheson at Glen Helen on lap 3. Mark Parrott, another name we noticed, number 49. He was up to 24th. So a good run for Mark Parrott today. The unmistakable sound of Josh Brooks. Just drops into the top 10 at the moment. 10th place it was. He held at the grandstand at the end of the last lap, so he's having a steady enough run on it, and still potentially Josh Brooks 23 seconds down on 9th place Bruce Anstey. Not sure that's achievable, but if he can continue with his pressure, he could well sneak into that top 10 with a 9th. We'll take one more through and then we'll give you a full leaderboard. That's Martin Jessup. He just slots in between Brooks and Cummins, and that was number 19, Dan Hegarty. So your top 5 in first place, number 9, Dean Harrison. He leads number 4, Ian Hutchinson, by half a second. In third place, number 10, Peter Hickman. He is 6 seconds back on Hutchinson. In fourth, number 3, James Hillier, 4 seconds down on Hickman. And making up the top 5, number 11, Michael Rutter, 53 seconds back on James Hillier. Back to you at the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade, stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories, and the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising.
Manx Radio TT.
At the lap bridge, Dean Harrison has maintained that 0.6 second advantage over number 4, Ian Hutchinson. Peter Hickman maintains station in third, but James Hillier is closing in. He's made a second or so into him between Glen Helen and the lap bridge, probably benefiting from the tow he's getting from Ian Hutchinson. Another retirement. He got a pit lane speed penalty, Fabrice McGuay, but he's retired then just down the road at the Braddon Bridge at the Oak Tree. And Julian Tonuiti also is a 30-second penalty. Let's go to Ramsey and Roy Moore.
Well, it would appear names beginning with H have got to be involved in this one. Harrison, Hutchinson, Hickman and Hillier. What's it going to be here at Ramsey on lap number 4? Virtually nothing in it as he went over Ballaugh Bridge, so the run through to Ramsey will prove it. Who in fact is leading on the road? It is Ian Hutchinson who came first in there. There's 1, 2, 3 together. I don't think the third one. It's Forrest Dunn who has been overtaken on the run here to Ramsey, but certainly James Hillier seems to have an ability, as Pat O'Hanlon said, to be able to be towed round and do his own race. And certainly with John McGuinness, I think last year he certainly did that, and certainly with Ian Hutchinson he's doing it. But with Ian Hutchinson jockeying for the lead, he's certainly ahead on the road and riding his own race. But certainly James Hillier absolutely holding on to that machine in front of him, and certainly very impressive indeed. So there was only half a second in it, 0.6 here there at Ballaugh Bridge. So what will it be here at Ramsey? We've had through number 4 Ian Hutchinson, we've had through number 9 Dean Harrison, and we're waiting now for number 3 James Hillier is through. And David Johnson, has he been overtaken by the race leader, or is he the race leader? No, he's not. It's Ian Hutchinson at Ramsey, but only a fraction of a second, virtually nothing at all. 0.070. That is absolutely nothing, but it is a race lead for him. But he might have just lost out a little bit there on David Johnson on the Norton, was just ahead of him coming into the hairpin. So it's going to be pretty crucial now over that climb over the mountain. And certainly it's Ian Hutchinson, number 4, who has taken back the lead of that Dean Harrison had. Just the fraction in it from the run from Ballaugh Bridge here to Ramsey. Another one, that is Bruce Anstey indicating he's stopping. Bruce Anstey stops here at Ramsey hairpin, just lifts the left-hand side out. The marshal's now, he's just climbing off the bike, having a look at the back left-hand side. The left-hand side as well. The marshal just grabs the throttle there and frightens the life out of everybody. Bruce Anstey has a quick look, dusts the tyre down. He's quite happy with what he's seen now, and he's been allowed to continue, which is absolutely right. And there it is, going away now. So stopping at Ramsey hairpin, Bruce Anstey. So a left-hander must have just kind of given a bit of concern. Where does he slot into everything? Well, we're doing that. I think we've got the fact that it's Ian Hutchinson by, well, fraction of a second here at Ramsey from Dean Harrison. But certainly in third place, Peter Hickman is still only 5 seconds down on Dean Harrison. Certainly at Ramsey hairpin that was the case, that it was Ian Hutchinson leading. But Peter Hickman at number 10 is third, only 5 seconds down on Dean Harrison. In fourth, number 3, James Hillier, 6 seconds down on Peter Hickman. Fifth for number 11, Michael Rutter, 58 seconds down on James Hillier. Sixth for number 14, Dan Neen, who have all gone through, while that action was getting there by Bruce Anstey stopping. Dan Neen is only a fraction, 0.3 of a second behind now Michael Rutter, and that could move him into 6th, into 5th place, and certainly might have a bit of a job to go higher than that. But he's taken a bit of a march on David Johnson, who's in 7th place, 9 seconds down on Neen. In 8th place it's number 2 Bruce Anstey, but that'll go all out through the window as Connor Cummins is here now with that stop that he had to make here at Ramsey. He's 24 seconds down on David Johnson down the road. That'll probably increase. That'll put Connor up now into 8th place. He was shown as in 8th place, 9th place going through here, but William Dunlop is probably the one, number 15. He is the 115. He is William Dunlop now. Let's just confirm that. Yes, he does take over on the quieter sounding machine there. He's in 8th place now, 14 seconds down on David Johnson, but he is well ahead now, and he will be well ahead. It's 10 seconds down the road. That'll probably be about 30 seconds now. Over in 9th place, number 2 Bruce Anstey, who in turn is 45 seconds ahead, but that'll change as well, because Josh Brooks has got to come into the equation, number 16 here at Ramsey. Josh Brooks, I think we'll just about get through to get Josh through, and certainly is the case. What's the position at the bungalow? The bungalow shows now that Ian Hutchinson has got a 3-second lead at the bungalow. Ian Hutchinson leads Dean Harrison by 3.3 seconds at the bungalow, and in third place James Hillier, 6.5 seconds down on Peter Hickman now into third. He's only 1 second down on Dean Harrison, so 4 seconds covering the top three at the bungalow. Lap 4, back to the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade. Stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories. And the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
A crucial pit stop coming up here at the end of lap 4, and just looking at the times for the pit stop at the end of lap 2, there's about a 5-second difference between Ian Hutchinson and Dean Harrison. 5 seconds advantage to Hutchinson in the last pit stop at Cronknamona. We've got Ian Hutchinson, we've got James Hillier as well. And the difference between Hillier's got ahead as well of Ian Hutchinson on the road, 9.7 the gap. So good observation from Chris Kinley down below. So he's had the tow with Ian Hutchinson, who's been building and getting into this lead, which he's starting to stretch. Say at the bungalow, 3.3 seconds the advantage Ian Hutchinson enjoys over Dean Harrison. But my word, it's tight. Peter Hickman also is just 1.7 now down on that second place of Dean Harrison. So we're going to see Hillier and Hutchinson come into view very shortly. There's the klaxon sounding. We wait for the first sight. It is Hillier who is first into the what used to be the old stop box. Oh, Hutchinson had to put the brakes on there to get in. Chris Kinley.
4.3 it was between. In fact, we have at Cronknamona, we have a new second place man. Hickman has just jumped up the second place. Hutchinson leads by 4.357 from Hickman to Harrison, 0.088 behind Hickman. So Hickman makes a jump up to third to second place at the moment. Hutchinson's lead as he came into the pit stop. Number 4 leads number 3 at the moment by 9.69, but that is going to change. Going to wait for Dean Harrison. Maybe a little bit of traffic just out there. There is a couple of slower riders just gone through about a minute or so ago, so these boys will catch them, I would say, on the next lap in a bit. So Dean Harrison through Cronknamona, Hillier's through there, Davy Johnson is now also through Cronknamona, so the JG Speedfit team working hard on that. The cap's going on. They're going on about the same sort of time. This is going to be a drag race down. Don't forget 60 kilometres. Hillier's got just in front of Hutchie there. Is he going to let him go past as the rider goes through? But it's Dean Harrison here now. Dean Harrison in. It's 5.6. Dean Harrison and Davy Johnson into the pits. And I think maybe Hutchie just got ahead of Hillier. So Dean Harrison there, 4 seconds. There's Hickman. It's 4 seconds, 4.068. Ian Hutchinson leads number 4. From number 10, Peter Hickman by 4.068 of a second. That's all that it is. So the Smiths Racing BMW guys on the fuel there now. Happy with the chain. The change is coming off the rear sprocket there. The wheel slid out on the quick release fasteners that they have in there. And the rear wheel just slotted back in nice and calm. Just rolls the wheel round just to change just a little bit of a eighth of a second. Maybe nothing much there at all. Tim called it beforehand. This is very important. Dean Harrison's still in. They're working on that. The last spots of fuel just going there trying to get it all in. The gap then 4.068. Harrison 1.6 behind Hickman. The top 5 only separated by 4.6 seconds. Oh, David Johnson pit stop, and there's Dean away there now. David Johnson's got something hanging off the side of his bike. It's a rag or something. I'm not sure what it is. And there is Hickman away there now. Yeah, he's got a rag stuck on the side of the Norton. Hopefully he'll be able to get that off, or that'll probably blow off. So It's all changed. Hickman is making a move, and as Roy called it, he is really a man on a mission here now. Another rider coming in for their pit stops. We'll make our way down to Tim O'Hanlon. It's number 2, Anstey. We heard that he did have a bit of a stop at Ramsey Hairpin there now. What are we going to see from Bruce? He's right opposite where we normally stand. Is he going to get off the bike? Is he going to be happy or not? We will find out in a second. There our visor gets lifted up. There's Rutter, and there is also Dan Neal, 11 and 14 in for their second pit stops here now. But the official difference is 4.068 between Hutchinson and Hickman, and 1.6 back to Harrison, and Harrison only 4 seconds to Hillier. And then it's about a minute and a bit back to Rutter. So the top 1, 2, 3, 4 only separated by about 10 seconds. But after the pit stops, Tim.
After the pit stops, Hutchinson has got a 10-second lead now over Peter Hickman. And Peter Hickman has only got 2-second lead over James Hillier, who's crept up to third. And Harrison down to fourth, 2 seconds behind.
I did think it was a long pit stop for Dean Harrison. Tim, there's the news. Back to you.
Well, crucial was how we described it, and I think it is going to be, as Bruce Ansey leaves the pit lane here and heads out for lap 5. But it's Ian Hutchinson on that last lap then, 129.954 miles per hour. Peter Hickman, 129.903, and Dean Harrison, 129.311. But the man who was quickest on that last lap was James Hillier, 130.123. Got the toe from Ian Hutchinson for most of the lap, and then overtook him on the run down from the bungalow, and he has put in the quickest on that lap. But Connor is down there now. Let's hope they have a smoother pit stop this time. Down to Chris.
I think they're just having problems with the rear wheel spindle again. It's been rattled in. I've just seen the little torque wrench just go on there now. It's just getting it off there now. It's very, very tight on that rear wheel spindle. So again, Tim, the task team have taken another 5 seconds off there now with their pit stops. Absolutely incredible. So Connor's in. Again, problems with that rear wheel for the boys, and 15 also in. And also up there too is the second Norton of Josh Brooks. But again, Connor losing just a little bit of time. But he's just keeping it nice and steady there now, keeping it nice and relaxed. So again, problems for Connor. Back to you.
Yeah, I think Ian Hutchinson owes his pit crew a beer or two if he does win this RST Superbike TT. So Hillier, yes, quickest. Rutter, 127.854. Dan Nina, 128.481. David Johnson, 126.738. William Dunlop, 126.421. Josh Brooks in ninth, coming into the pits, 127.311. So he was quicker of the two Nortons. In 10th was Martin Jessup, 127.041. 11th was number 2 Bruce Anstey, but 120.509. That included an extra little stop there at Ramsey Hairpin. And Connor Cummins on that last lap, 125.159. What a race. Let's go out to Glen Helen. Dave Christian.
Just in time, Tim. Hillier and Hutchinson in that order on the road. Both very fast, and as Roy was quite rightly pointing out, James Hillier sat in behind John McGuinness last year, or was it the year before, can't remember which, and that dragged him along. Well, he's taking the bull by the horns today. He's ahead of Ian Hutchinson on the road. And Hutchie, though, is ahead of him by 10 seconds on corrected time, so Hutchie just needs to hang on to his coattails. He knows he's safe from James Hillier. That's a higher start number, 83, I think that was Forrest Dunn. Not too much traffic ahead of the guys. Matt Rees, Dave Madsen, Migdal went through just about a minute or so before the leaders got here. They're going to catch them at some point, but if it happens before the difficult part of the circuit down in the fast corners towards Kirkmichael, it should be okay. But I think the time gap is such that they're going to be on them probably nearer the Sulby area, I think. Particularly Matt Rees was about a minute and a half clear. Here's Dean Harrison now. Wrestles that round the corner. Davo Johnson still got the rag flapping from his right hand side. That's not blown off in the wind. And Peter Hickman as well. And the leader is Ian Hutchinson. Hutchinson leads Hillier at Glen Helen on lap 5 by 9 seconds. In third place, number 10, Peter Hickman. He is just 7/10 of a second down on Hillier. So Peter Hickman with a lot to play for. And Dean Harrison, fourth place. He is just 6/10 of a second down on Hickman. So there's still 10 seconds separating the top four. This really could be anybody's race. It doesn't take much to lose 10 seconds. Just outbrake yourself into one of those tight corners, and you've lost a a whole load of time whether you're trying to turn it around and get it back out again. So 10 seconds really split in the top four. This is a really, really tight conclusion to the opening race of TT 2017, fueled by Energy. Davo Johnson, the fifth one through here at Glen Helen. He's a little bit away off the pace. He's about a minute and 23 seconds behind Dean Harrison, but I'm sure there will be some faster movers going to slot in ahead of Davo. But at the moment, it's Hutchinson, Hillier second, Hickman third, and Harrison fourth. Plenty of H's for some alliteration there, as Roy quite rightly pointed out earlier on. But 9 seconds that gap. Has Ian Hutchinson got this one sewn up? Too early to tell at this stage, but everybody's fingers are crossed for him. Another machine approaches. This is Bruce Anstey. And Anstey safely through on his fifth lap. And right behind him on the road, Michael Rutter. And Rutter closely followed by Dan Neen, desperately trying to pick up some time from that pit stop. And Dan Neen just got 4 seconds away now from Michael Rutter, who is in 5th place. So Michael Rutter moves into 5th, a minute and 15 behind Dean Harrison, and Dan Neen just tucks in behind him, 4 seconds back, and I think Dan Neen on a charge could well pick up that additional time. Davo Johnson currently 7th place, but again we've got some quicker guys may just nudge up. William Dunlop will be there and thereabouts, and Josh Brooks shouldn't be too far behind him either. Martin Jessup was 10th leaving the grandstand, so those guys may well still feature inside our leaderboard here at the moment, but the top four, there's no doubt about them. Hutchinson, Hillier, Hickman and Harrison in that order, with Michael Rutter just outside the top five, just inside the top five, but a minute or so off the pace. The last update we had from Connor Cummins, he's brought it back up to 15th place, which is pretty good given his problems in the pits. 15, William Dunlop. William into 8th place, just behind Davo Johnson. And 20 seconds the gap there for William Dunlop to make that extra place. And the guys higher up the start order we were following at Glen Helen on lap 4, Daley Matheson, number 56, up to 17th. Mark Parrott, number 49, up to 22nd. And Sam West, great run from him, number 30, he's up to 15th. Here's some action, and this sounds like a Norton, looks like a Norton, and it is a Norton. Josh Brooks just nicks inside the top 10, holding 9th place. Josh Brooks just ahead of Bruce Anstey at the moment, but I think Martin Jessup may just slot in there when he gets here. Also going well, Joachim van den Hoek, number 63, he was up to 27th place, and number 72, Barry Ferber, 34th, although he had a very close encounter with an air fence here at Glen Helen on his exit, managed to just keep it upright, and he's having a good week. 18 now, that is Martin Jessup. He takes up that last position in the top 10, just behind Josh Brooks. Your leaderboard then is the first, number 4, Ian Hutchinson. He leads number 3, James Hillier, by 9 seconds. In 3rd place, number 10, Peter Hickman, who is 7/10 of a second down on Hillier. In 4th, number 9, Dean Harrison, who's 6/10 down on Peter Hickman. In 5th, number 11, Michael Rutter, who's a minute and 15 down on 4th place Harrison. In 6th, number 14, Dan Neen, who's 4 seconds down on Rutter. In 7th, number 1, Davo Johnson, he's 3 down on Neen. In 8th, number 15, William Dunlop, who's 21 seconds down on Johnson. In 9th, number 16, Josh Brooks, who's 22 seconds down on William Dunlop. And in 10th place, number 18, Martin Jessup, who's 10 seconds down on Josh Brooks. Back to you at the grandstand.
Yeah, Ballaugh Bridge, Hutchinson still at 9.5 seconds. He's just eked it out a little bit more over James Hillier. Peter Hickman in 3rd, Dean Harrison in 4th, but there's hardly anything between them. A right battle for the podium here. Connor Cummins officially retired at the pits now, and Daniel Hegarty is retired at Hilbury. Hillier has dropped 16 seconds to Hutchinson in the pits. Harrison 9.9 seconds, and Hickman 8 seconds. So it has all been decided so far in the pits. What a different race we'd had if they were all on the same. Let's go to Roy at Ramsey.
How many times has that happened in the past, though? And certainly the boys who know what they're doing can do all that change around and get those seconds advantages there. But we're here at Ramsey. It's a battle at the front with 9 seconds, but second and third far from decided. Who will be first into view here at Ramsey Hairpin on lap number 5? And it is Ian Hutchinson who has got the drop on number 3, James Hillier, here at Ramsey. The Taiko Suzuki, they are absolutely on the limit as they go round. James Hillier there, as well as 8 cylinders of power going away. The BMW versus Kawasaki battle here at Ramsey, and it would appear as though that is about the same margin, I would suggest, as it was at Ballaugh Bridge, but that will be changed with the arrival of number 10, Peter Hickman, and number 9, Dean Harrison, to see what that battle. There was only 1 second between them, and there was only 1 second between James Hillier and Peter Hickman. So decided in the pits. Well, the experience, I suppose, of all the boys there from the Tyco team built up over the years. How many years have they been coming and servicing the riders there, and going back to Adrian Archibald, and we remember David Jeffries as well, certainly involved in the input there from Hector Neal and Son down there at the grandstand. But certainly Ian Hutchinson by 11 seconds here. We're just thinking, no, it's Dean Harrison is here, but it's Peter Hickman who will be behind him, and I think he's less than 10 seconds. It looks as though it's less. Hickman is absolutely flying. He really is on the pace. Number 10, Peter Hickman, and there's the Norton number 1 in between them, and that is number 83. I think we got him the last time through, Forrest Dunn. So he's been overtaken, but it is 10 seconds now, nearly 11, 10.967, that Ian Hutchinson leads at Ramsey over Peter Hickman, but there's only 0.6 of a second between him. Second place for Peter Hickman, so he's changed that round from Ballaugh Bridge on the run here to Ramsey. It's Peter Hickman into second place, 11 seconds down on Ian Hutchinson, but now it's third for number 3, James Hillier, but 0.6 of a second only down on Peter Hickman, with Dean Harrison only 0.1 of a second down on James Hillier. We then have in fifth place number 1, David Johnson, but irrelevant really. 1.32 is the difference there. David Johnson reported as going through the hairpin here. I don't think that is the case. He definitely had the Norton through Ramsey hairpin, but we're getting an indication that there was a retirement, but I'd have to confirm that we did see and hear the Norton through Ramsey. So David Johnson holding on to that 5th place. We also noticed that Sean Anderson was going well, and Tom Whedon, yes, those yellow leathers are bright. There's absolutely no doubt about that, but they're going well. And certainly Davy Morgan has been having a good old battle there as well with the Van Aeneas. Bruce Anstey, well, he stopped and had a word with us last time, but he's not round this time. And there is Michael Rutter, and right behind him is Dan Neen. So that will be changing things about, I would think. Yeah, there's only 0.3 of a second, so if Dan Neen can get ahead of Michael Rutter there, he's only 0.3 of a second down on him, but he's got a nice little margin now of 10 seconds over in 7th place, number 1, David Johnson, and off the riders through so far, in 8th place, number 2, Bruce Anstey, but 1 minute and 13 seconds down on David Johnson. So Dan Neen looks as though he's about to pounce on Michael Rutter there and take that advantage and move up to 5th place here at Ramsey, but that margin between 3rd and 4th, absolute fractions of a second between James Hillier and Dean Harrison, and then the 10-second gap that Peter Hickman, well, 2nd or 3rd, we'll be able to find out from the bungalow what the timings are there, but certainly at Ramsey on lap number 5 it is Ian Hutchinson by 10 seconds now, 10.967. So to everybody's margin, I would think that would mean 11, and certainly pit stops well out of the way. And as always that people say about the flying lap, it's probably only the last lap do you get the opportunity to do a flying lap. Standing start, then slowing down for the pit stop. William Dunlop, he's having a nice steady ride, isn't he? It sounds like a road bike here at Ramsey, but certainly that power is there. And William Dunlop, neat as ever through Ramsey, and certainly just getting the advantage there. William Dunlop holding on to 8th place. He's 26 seconds down on David Johnson, but holds a comfortable 46-second advantage over and Bruce Anstey. But that could be changed by the arrival of Josh Brooks, so we could just go to the bungalow. I'm sure we'll be able to get those times in 30 seconds. That's what the difference is. It's Hutchinson by 9.5 at the bungalow from Hickman in second, who was 1 second ahead only of James Hillier. In turn, number 9, Dean Harrison, only 1.5 seconds down on James Hillier in fourth. Back to the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade. Stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories. And the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Lights on then for number 3, James Hillier, and number 4, Ian Hutchinson at Cronknamona. And we just wait to see what the gap was. 10.4 the gap between them. So Hutchinson and Hillier, they've been, you could throw, as Dave I think said earlier, a handkerchief over them. And such the close racing that they've managed to achieve around here. So we've got a 59 coming into the pits here. That's Matthew Rees just to refuel at the end of his 4th lap. But we await Ian Hutchinson and James Hillier. They've come out of Governor's Dip. They're on Glen Crutchley Road. So they'll be going flying past the grandstand any moment now. And they've been in close proximity for most of this race as they head out now onto their last lap. There is Hutchinson ahead of Hillier this time. And 123.697, of course, includes the pit stop, and 123.5 for Hillier. So pretty much identical lap and times out there on the course. They've been, they're like twins out there. It's all the H's, as Roy said, at the top of the leaderboard. Hutchinson, Harrison, Hickman and Hillier. And the gap between them is 10.8, but you could see them together on the road. So Hickman is 8.5 down on Hutchinson at Cronknamona. And Hillier is just 1.8 down on Hickman in third. Dean Harrison just falling back a little, maybe 2.5 seconds down on James Hillier. And we should see Dean Harrison coming through ahead of Peter Hickman still, of course, on the road. And we look up Glen Crutchley Road and wait now to see. It'll be Dean Harrison on that Silicone Engineering bike first of all. There he is. Through he goes onto his last lap. And there's Hickman. So at the end of that, it is Hickman in second place, and it's just come down a little bit again. It was 8.5 at Cronknamona. Hickman's now 7.9 down on Hutchinson. Is it a Hickey charge here? James Hillier is 2.8 seconds down on Hickman, and 2.2 now the gap between Hillier in third and Dean Harrison in fourth. David Johnson currently showing as the only other one through in fifth position. We heard that throaty Norton rumble past us here. Another pit lane speed limit exceeded, and it was Matthew Rees who gave him the build-up coming in at the end of his 4th lap. 64.279 kilometres an hour in pit lane, so a 30-second penalty. Martin Jessup, 192.3 miles per hour. So he is the quickest through the Sulby speed trap today as another bike comes in here to view here at the grandstand. So this will be at the end of their 4th lap. And that is number 83, I think, that's down there. And that is Forrest Dunn from Cornwall on that Forrest Dunn Racing Kawasaki down in pit lane, just putting the juice in for another lap or two around the mountain course. So Ian Hutchinson is just 7.9, so 8 seconds we'll call that. It's pretty much there ahead. Number 4 ahead of number 10, Peter Hickman. So it's BMW and BMW to the 4. Then we've got the 2 Kawasaki's, all 2 together, almost touching shoulders as they went past us there. Rutter and Dan Neen, I think that was there. And we've had also Bruce Anstey just following in their wake, but they were incredibly close across the finish line here. And where does that place them? Dan Neen is 5th, Michael Rutter is in 6th. So 7.98 seconds, Hutchinson leads Hickman. Then in 3rd, it's Hillier, 2.8 down on Hickman. 4th is number 9, Dean Harrison, 2.2 down on Hillier. 5th is number 14, Dan Neen. He's 1 minute 22 down, though, on Harrison. 6th is number 11, Michael Rutter. He's just 0.013. That's why they're battling. Down on Dan Neen. 7th is number 1, David Johnson, who's 16.7 seconds down on Rutter. 8th is Bruce Anstey, and he is 1 minute 14 down on Johnson. And a retirement in the pits here. Number 83 is retired Forrest Dunn from Cornwall. A retirement here down below. The bike just being wheeled away down towards the bottom of pit lane. It'll go through the gates and then back into the paddock. Let's go now to Glen Helen on this last lap day. Christian.
Yes, that's just one of the highest start numbers coming through there. That I think was at number 80, Richard McLaughlin. There is a little bit of traffic as well ahead of McLaughlin. We've got George Spence, Julian Tonuiti and Alessandro Polita. And that's some more traffic as well. That's 69, Adrian Harrison. But he is Hillier and Hutchinson together on the road. Adrian Harrison, I think that was just in front of them. He's going to get a little bit of a shocker on Crunker Body. As 47 as well, Tom Whedon. He's been passed as well by the two guys up at the top end of the race. So let's just see how that's affected things. And some more traffic as well. Number 70 comes through there. That's Richard Wilson. And the guys have had to contend with that traffic. It may well have upset the apple cart a little bit, but at the moment it's Hutchinson ahead of James Hillier by 9 seconds. 9.636 if we're going to be picky about it, but we'll call it 9 just for the time being. So Hutchinson ahead of Hillier by 9 seconds, and we just need the arrival now of Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison so we can square off this top end of the leaderboard. And it is just 10 seconds really covering the top 4 guys. Still anybody's race, particularly now they're encountering traffic. Here's something moving a little bit quicker. That's Dean Harrison. No issues and dramas for Dean straight through here. And here's Peter Hickman. Looks like Harrison's just pulling away from him a little bit. Or is he? And Hutchinson leads Hickman by 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds. Glen Helen on lap 6. Ian Hutchinson leads Peter Hickman by 2.5 seconds. In 3rd place, it's number 4, Dean Harrison. He's 4 seconds back on Hickman. Davo Johnson on the mark. And he is safely through here, but well away from the 4th place man, James Hillier, 1 minute and 3/4 or so behind. But Hutchinson, Hickman, Harrison and Hillier, 2.5 seconds the gap for the lead. 4 seconds back is Dean Harrison. It's Dave Madsen mingled through there now. Dean Harrison is 4 seconds back on 3rd place. On 2nd place, Peter Hickman, and James Hillier 3 seconds back on 3rd place, Harrison. So it is all very tight at the top. What's that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, still 10 seconds split them, but the individual gaps are so small. And we're going to have a cracking finish there with Tim Glover in the tower when these guys come down Glen Crutchley Road later on, with these time gaps so small at the end of 6 laps. You're right. I think whoever described Ian Hutchinson's pit crew, they have done a fantastic job for him this afternoon. And the race could really have been won or lost in pit lane. The guys we are following higher up the start order, Glen Helen on lap 5, Sam West number 30 up to 13th place, and number 36 Phil Crow in 14th as well. Great run from Big Phil Crow. And Mark Parrott number 49 up to 19th, but here's something moving a little bit quicker. At 14 and 11 together on the road, Dan Neen and Michael Rutter. Dan Neen now, though, ahead of Michael Rutter on corrected time. Dan Neen now moves into 5th place. He's 1 minute and 23 behind 4th place Hillier, so no danger of catching that, I don't think. Bruce Anstey still circulating on that fantastic sounding Honda, but just not on the pace with it this afternoon. Bruce currently holding 8th place. And I think at the grandstand he might have been a little bit further back. Yeah, 11th. Josh Brooks, Martin Jessup and William Dunlop all ahead of Bruce Anstey when they came through the grandstand at the end of the lap. A name we haven't mentioned this afternoon, Horst Seiger, number 22. He's up to 12th place, so great run from the Austrian. And Sam West and Phil Crow are confirmed now through the grandstand in 13th and 14th position, so they're having a great race as well. Confusingly enough, we're seeing as Alessandro Polita coming up on that leaderboard. I don't think that's correct. Anybody using the Duke timing system, I suspect Mr. Polita is a lap behind everybody else, so just ignore it. But the top of the table at the minute, it is a four-way battle for 3 podium places, and only 2.5 seconds away from the win for Peter Hickman. And as I said, this really could be anybody's race in this final lap. It is Ian Hutchinson, number 4, leads Peter Hickman, but the gap is only 2.5 seconds. 15 through, William Dunlop, he moves into 8th position, 28 seconds down on 7th place, David Johnson. So it's number 4, Hutchinson leads number 10, Hickman, by 2.5 seconds. In 3rd place, number 9, Dean Harrison, he's 4 seconds back on Hickman. In 5th place, in 4th place, number 3, James Hillier. He's 3 seconds down on Harrison. And in 5th place, number 14, Dan Neen. 1 minute and 24 seconds down on 4th place, James Hillier. Back to you at the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade. Stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories. And the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Harrison then was quickest from here to Glen Helen on the last lap here, but Hickman has gone quicker from Glen Helen to Belap Bridge than the rest of the top 4, and he's just 2 seconds down on Ian Hutchinson at Belap Bridge. Dean Harrison 4.6 down on Hickman, Hillier 4.4 down on Harrison. Hickman, Hillier in 4th, but it's Hickman on the move. Have Hutchinson and Hillier hit traffic? It's all in the mix. It's a sizzler of a Superbike Sunday here on the Isle of Man. Michael Russell, a retirement at Quarterbridge, but, well, who is it going to be? Who's it going to be? Let's find out at Ramsey, who's leading. Roy Moore.
Hutchinson took advantage in the pits, but now he's got to maintain it on the road. And here at Ramsey, there was only 2 seconds in it as they went over Belap Bridge, but we're just waiting now for that beam to be broken down the road. Ian Hutchinson and James Hillier still together, but Ian Hutchinson ahead of James Hillier by a bit more margin than he has been on the previous laps, but certainly will be fully aware that it now, so that it all comes down to that beam down the road. The difference between Ian Hutchinson and James Hillier, incidental, 12 seconds. But certainly we're looking at that gap between Ian Hutchinson, number 4, and number 10, Peter Hickman, reported at 2 seconds. And there's number 80 going through there. So that will be, as David Christian Price rightly pointed out, number 80 and 69. That's Richard McLaughlin, and number 69 going through there. That's Adrian Harrison. They will be involved. Well, Adrian Harrison, the brother of Dean Harrison, will he get out of the way? Well, certainly things are shaping up, because there's number 47 as well, and these aren't the numbers we're looking for as we look down the road to see that sweeping out of the Stella Maris, Peter Hickman, that really is on the pace. And there's Dean Harrison here now. Dean Harrison here at Ramsey, and he's Peter Hickman will here as well, and still there, but it's still a difference, but it's down yet again to 1.5 seconds here at Ramsey. Ian Hutchinson still leading, but only by 1.5 seconds from number 10, Peter Hickman, and in 3rd place, number 9, Dean Harrison, and he's only 5 seconds down on Peter Hickman. And James Hillier, number 3, holding on to 4th place, is only 5.5 seconds down on Dean Harrison. What a battle this is going to be. The start of the mountain climb up here from the hairpin up through the waterworks and then into the brilliant sunshine. They will be now well through the gooseneck, I would think, and heading up right through then up to the highest, well, up through the mountain, up to the mountain mile is number 1. David Johnson is here now. He's safely through. But the news from Ramsey, there's only 1.5 seconds. Officially, 1.644 is the margin that Ian Hutchinson now has over number 10, Peter Hickman. And he was quick, and he is another very quick machine into view. But that is number 59. On 59, riding that is Matthew Rees. Disappointment for Michael Russell. We did notice that he was going well, and the late braking award here at Ramsey Hairpin belongs to number 38, Dominic Herbertson. The back end went light just as he was anchoring it up into Ramsey Hairpin, and he had to use the small area of the roadway on the right hand side by the commentary box, but got it turned round and headed off. Number 75 is here now, so they're not going to affect the leaders. They will be well. Dave Madston Migdal on for another TT finish, I would suggest, on that. But at Ramsey Hairpin, it's Ian Hutchinson, number 4, but only just from number 10, Peter Hickman. 1.644 seconds is the margin. Don't discount in third place, number 9, Dean Harrison. 5 seconds only down on Peter Hickman. We then have in fourth place, number 3, James Hillier. 6 seconds down on Dean Harrison. Dan Neen has just gone through. He's in 5th place now, but he's only 0.3 ahead of Michael Rutter. So that's another one to look for as they head up the mountain. And Dan Neen holding on to that 5th place, number 14. He's 1 minute and 29 seconds down on James Hillier. In 6th place, number 11, Michael Rutter. 0.3 down on Dan Neen. 7th for number 1, David Johnson. 27 seconds down on Michael Rutter. And 8th for number 2, Bruce Anstey, because he is here now at Ramsey. Whatever that problem was, he was just dusting down the left-hand tyre side of the machine. So Bruce Anstey takes the Honda away from Ramsey, and we'll transfer our attentions now to the bungalow to see what the difference is there. The bungalow, Ian Hutchinson is through the bungalow. James Hillier is through the bungalow. The sweeping left, right over the tram lines, bounce down to the right-hand side, under the bridge, and heading up to Halewood's Heights, the highest point of the circuit, and then the sweeping left-hander through Brandywell, and then the downhill stretch when Douglas stretches out ahead of you, and many, many are the TT winners that have taken that on. But it's Ian Hutchinson still. Ian Hutchinson still at the bungalow by 2.79 seconds from 10, Peter Hickman. Peter Hickman in turn is 6 seconds ahead of, in third place through the bungalow, number 9, Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison just holding on to a 4-second advantage of, in fourth place, number 3, James Hillier. So it's still Hutchinson who leads this one, but still quite a few miles to go. Back to the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
What are you taking home from this year's TT? Visit Motorsport Merchandise and take home more than just memories. Motorsport Merchandise are the proud producers of all official TT clothing. Find them directly behind the grandstand, next door to Marks & Spencer's Douglas, or at Manx Shirts on the Promenade. Stockists of the entire TT range. So make it official. Take home TT clothing for more than just memories. And the perfect reminder of your Isle of Man TT.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Ian Hutchinson and James Hillier are both at Cronknamona. The lights have come on, and we're going to be poring over the gaps and the times at Cronknamona. 2.7 seconds the gap that Hutchinson had over Hickman at the bungalow. What an opening race to TT 2017 this has proved to be. 4 riders, the H's. We wait for Hutchinson to come up onto Glen Crutcher Road along with James Hillier. They've been in company for most of this race. Number 4 and 3. Hutchinson out of Governor's Dip, and now he is on his way, and so is Hillier out of Governor's Dip onto Glen Crutcher Road. The checkered flag just being acknowledged there. Yep, I've got it ready. I'm about to unfurl it. I'm about to wave it, and there is he and Hutchinson, the Bingley Bullet. Is he on for his 15th TT win? 130.738 on the last lap. I'm pretty sure he was looking at the boards and getting the hurry up. James Hillier, 130.2 2:39, and I can tell you that both Harrison and Hickman are at Cronknamona. They're going to have to keep them ready outside the winner's enclosure until we know exactly the order in which they finish. Julian Tonoiti has gone through. George Spence also through onto their last lap. But we wait now for Dean Harrison and Peter Hickman, a 50 and a 60-second start difference from Ian Hutchinson on the clock. So the stopwatches are running up here. Who is it going to be? Dean Harrison is now, and of course Peter Hickman onto Glen Crutchley Road. They'll come into view very shortly. A couple of lower order riders as well will be ahead of them as well. But here comes the cavalcade. Checkered black waves. Who's got it? There's Hickman. It is Ian Hutchinson by 5 seconds. Peter Hickman, number 10, is in second, and Dean Harrison has finished 1.7 seconds ahead of James Hillier and is in third. That's your top three. Down to Chris Kinley.